It was a natural title for me because I was thinking of a series of paintings and drawings that Floyd has. But endangered also means where we are in America, especially when we think about Black men. And that is what that's what's been captured in Floyd's work. And I think that relates to the death of his brother as well. I'm quite taken with how much authority he has as a painter and as a thinker as well. It's a kind of collaboration in time and space, because often it seems as if we're thinking some of the same thoughts. For myself, I think of poetry as celebration and confrontation. And in that sense, that's what Floyd's work is doing as well. I felt like I was responding to the essence of Floyd, because in his work, there's a kind of spirit, as if he has engaged these figures, has taken them in, and they are a part of who he is. So there's a kind of severe respect for the people in his work. And consequently, because of his talent and also technique, that respect is reflected in the work when we see it. The images almost function as poems. He's not telling us how to think, but also there's a kind of freedom in that. And you respond to that work with, I want to underline, dignity. Having a dialogue with oneself, that is a challenge. Going back and forth, did I get it right? And also realizing that it isn't a map or a chart for our single expression, that there's freedom in one's response. There's freedom for anyone who faces the work and engages it. And I like that. I like the idea of not being told how to think or what to think. The only thing the artist can do is to be true to him or herself and realize that this is really a dialogue. What one person may think about a given work is entirely different than what another person may think. And that's the freedom of art, I think. It is so different than producing propaganda, because propaganda has a slogan, even when it's not spoken. Individual from another generation may feel like, oh, this is radical. Often I say, what is radical about truth? I think art is quite spiritual at times, and other times it is rather political, because what we do is that we take an image with us. He takes a walk with us. And in the middle of the night, it might nudge us and say, it means this. No, it means something else. That there's a dialogue. And sometimes it's an unconscious dialogue. And you wake up and say, what was that about? The work is doing this job even when we don't realize it. The freedom of the artist is so important. One essentially faces the blank page or the canvas and put themselves onto that canvas. And that's why I think most art is radical. It's an interesting time to be an artist. An artist should have the freedom to do what he or she does and not be challenged with questions in their heads from others. I have a play that I've been writing. There's a little song in there that I wrote, and it has a line, when you can breathe for me, you can tell me who to love. And that is the same thing I feel about art to an extent, you know. When you can breathe for me, you can tell me what to write. The way that I came to Colorado is that I had come back from Vietnam, and my last year and a half or so, I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. And I saw the mountains, and there was something about the mountains that I said, gosh, I ended up staying in Colorado for 7.5 years. The Garden of the Gods became very interesting to me. Just the name of the place alone. The fact that the Ute, Native American tribes had named that place, had visited that place. And sometimes I would go out alone at night and sleep out there even.